Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We will give it a couple of minutes just to make sure everybody has an opportunity to dial in and connect with audio, and then we'll kick off our webinar. Hello, and thank you all for joining. We will begin the webinar here in just another minute. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We are seeing people still trickling in, so I'm going to give it another 30 seconds, and then we will kick off our quantum release webinar here in just a second. Thank you for joining. All right, fantastic. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the Labor Day weekend, and I hope everybody is going back to school smoothly. And then just wanted to welcome everybody today to our Quantum Release webinar. By a quick round of introduction, we today have myself, Gary Stom, our Director of Solution Engineering here at Youreka, and we also have Dan Bergner, our co-founder and Chief Product Officer. And first and foremost, as we kick things off, I just wanted to take a quick second here to thank everybody for joining. Thank you, our customers, our partners, all of our prospects, anyone that had taken the time to join us today. We're super excited to have you, and it's very important from our perspective for our customers and partners to not only join these webinars, but kick the tires and use our products. That collective feedback that you guys have generously been offering us, those are the types of things that get built into our roadmap and some of the new exciting features that we're going to be seeing here in just a moment. In terms of an agenda for today, we've got 5 new features that we're going to introduce today. We'll give you a quick preview of each of those and talk a little bit under the hood and show why it should bring some value to the table. But before we dig into each and every one of these features, I want to hand it off to Dan here for a quick second. Give us some perspective around Youreka from an omni-channel approach.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for spending a little bit of time with us here today. So just as a quick reminder, Youreka is really focused on facilitating these omni-channel experiences, points of interaction with customers, prospects, where we think about being able to drive guided interactions and workflow for our customers or for your customers when they're leveraging Salesforce communities or Experience Cloud. Similarly, when those individuals need the support of your agents who are likely using a console in Salesforce, being able to use Youreka to guide or perhaps even script those call center interactions. And last but not least, we think about facilitating workflow and doing guided data collection for our field technicians or mobile workforces that are out there on their mobile device with or without internet connectivity. So we know a lot of our customers and prospects will start with Youreka in one of these capacities. And we want to continue to reinforce the possibility of Youreka facilitating across all of these touch points for your service workflows. All right, Gary, let's jump into the first feature for our quantum release, mobile profiles. And as I think about framing up this new capability, many of you that have administered Youreka instances before are familiar with kind of the configuration panel for designing a mobile profile. And there was kind of like a one-size-fits-all approach. There was one mobile configuration for your entire instance. And the really exciting capability with mobile profiles is now you have the option to design different types of mobile configurations for your different Salesforce profiles. So as you think about having a team that's in the field that is focused on maybe their entire focus is around accounts or is oriented around different accounts. And it could be like a pre-sales team, for example, and they're going to go in and have different buttons for new forms that should be available to those end users, and they should see different data points around accounts and forms. This is going to allow you to configure a profile for one type of user, and then you'll see, as you see on the screen to the left here, how those individual configurations, which happen to be named account, default, and work order in this particular example, how those can be assigned to different Salesforce profiles. Similarly, as you have kind of the more traditional field technician configuration, you can see that mobile profile is showing the end user a work order oriented configuration. And similarly, you can have different types of new form buttons available specific to that user profile. So a lot of work went into designing this level of extensibility and configuration of Youreka. And I think creating this initial migration to supporting mobile profiles is going to unlock a lot of potential moving forward as you think about being able to use Youreka with a specific configuration for all of your different types of end users. So really excited to get this capability out there in the market. Right. Gary, you want to take read-only forms?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm very excited about that feature, especially as you think about deploying multiple use cases. Leverage the platform better. Let's build some new form templates for any and all users. And perhaps, somebody might want to orient their app via case versus somebody else who's looking at a work order or an account, for instance. It's great to give each of those individuals the best possible experience. So I'm super excited about that. Dan, you usually pick the best items, but I got lucky this time, and I am fortunate enough to be able to cover read-only forms. Now, read-only forms is one that's near and dear to my heart because I think it provides an even better contextual experience for technicians that are out in the field, for instance. And so the idea is we can control when a form is submitted, and once that form had been submitted, we can expose that form to any and all users and make that data read-only. So from a compliance perspective, when you complete an initial inspection, that data is still made available, but it is in a read-only state. So at a later date, it can't be edited. This is, of course, all optional. You can turn this feature on or off, and we'll give you a quick preview here. So on the left-hand side, you're looking at a form template that we're offering, and under the properties, you can turn on read-only behavior. For instance, when a form is submitted, and then on the right-hand side, you can see a technician going through, they create a brand new asset inspection, they complete the form, and as they complete it back on their device itself, it is in a read-only state. So I think this is a really strong story to tell. And if you think of a technician that's out in the field and they're looking at an engine, and they've filled out a comprehensive checklist, and they identify any and all data points that may require some work down the road. down the road, when they have the part, or maybe it's a different technician, they can refer back to that first completed form, all of the text data, all of the photo data, and it's all in a read-only state, so they can't change any of that existing data that had been contributed the first time around. So super excited about this. We all know we can use field links to pull data from objects in Salesforce. We've, in a couple of releases ago, we saw our digital asset repository, which allows you to pull photos from prior engagements. This one I'm super excited about because it has the whole comprehensive initial report. As the remediation team goes out and does their work, they can see the full install checklist, the full inspection on that asset, et cetera, and any and all of the data that they have contributed to that form in a read-only state. Beautiful. Let me hand this back off to Dan for our next item here.
Yeah, Gary, read only is definitely super exciting. The idea that it facilitates collaboration across end users for long-term work, right? Like, as you were saying, if you went out and did an initial inspection and were really detailed about what exactly needed to be repaired on a subsequent visit, when I go out on site, being able to have that read-only version of the form that you completed while you were out there gives me wonderful context to go complete my work and make sure that I'm completing it correctly and remediating all of the issues that you may have identified during your time on site. So really exciting stuff. And I know one of the questions that surfaced during some of our customers' beta interaction with read-only forms, Gary, if you don't mind, maybe just bounce back to the prior slide. You can see on the left, there's the ability to configure in the template builder that, like, when someone takes an action like submitting a form, that should move it into a read-only state. But for everyone who's really well versed at the Salesforce platform, there's actually just a field that is on the form itself that I believe is a checkbox, and when checked, that form moves into a read-only state. So you can use the template builder to specify behavior for moving a form into a read-only state, but you can absolutely use flows or any other form of automation inside of Salesforce to choose where and when you want to tick that read-only box for your form. So if there's some sort of time-based rule that you'd like to employ, you can do that and really, go nuts with how you configure forms to move into a read-only state. And you can always untick that box as well and move that form back into an editable state if that's something that your use case requires. All right, date time formula enhancement. So new set of capabilities available inside of Youreka's template builder. And I'll start by framing up like a example use case here. So unsurprisingly, a lot of our customers have really configured form templates that have a lot of dependencies inside of them. And we kept hearing requests for the ability to determine or facilitate almost like a service level agreement and have form templates adapt based on the amount of time that has surpassed since essentially like a clock started. So this was allowing our customers, or this allows our customers to start to do some calculations of durations, right? So how much time has passed since this form has been created? Perhaps if my procedure needs to follow a certain path, if it's been less than 8 hours, we can drive display logic based off of that duration and have the form follow perhaps like a more simple happy path. But if my threshold was 8 hours specifically, then I could have a scenario where I now want to collect even more information because I'm falling into maybe I've fallen outside of a service level agreement, or I'm approaching like the service level agreement time frame, and my procedure needs to alter or become more urgent. This is giving our end users the ability to do these types of variable configuration within their form and determine display logic accordingly. So really cool capability, and you can do different units based on things like years, months, days, hours, minutes, so forth. So you can get really specific around how you want to leverage these new date time formula enhancements.
I love that you can do it directly inside of the template builder too. It's not like going into Salesforce setup and creating a new formula field and then trying to configure dates versus date time fields. It's something super easy that you can do while you're authoring your template and then drive logic based off of it. All right, we're going to bring us home here. We've got two final quick features. This first item was brought back by popular demand. For those of you longtime customers, you might be familiar with this feature, which is the ability to quickly save a form that you've contributed data to inside of desktop. So instead of having to save and close a form, you can still keep it open, hit that quick save button so you don't have to worry about it. Go grab your cup of coffee, come back, and then finish your form later, but you can commit that save at that given time. Available in desktop today, but a real nice way to be able to commit those changes while you're going through the form itself. I do want to remind everybody that we certainly have the ability to create pagination throughout the form, which also drives a save along that process. So if you're looking to break up the data into bite-sized bits of information on each page, every single time that we turn a page, that can save the data back to Salesforce as well. But this is a real nice way to do it from desktop. Hit that quick save button and commit it to the table before contributing any additional data back to the form.
There's a lot of reference to like that being like a feel good button, Gary. It reminds me of the days of applying to colleges and universities, and you were filling in multiple pages, and you just wanted to click something that lets you know, hey, you've saved your progress thus far. So not surprised to see this one pop back after we attempted to simplify the UI and remove it. Everybody wanted that feel good button to come back. So here it is.
That's why I didn't get into all those colleges that I had applied for. It wasn't there. And those great essays that I completed, they just got lost along the way. The last item to round us out here is the photo limit. So we've recently added a new feature under photo questions inside of the template builder on a photo question. You have the ability to apply a min and max. So if you're requiring a photo question, you'll see a min pop up. You can put a minimum number of photos there, as well as a maximum. And the whole use case had come up where customers just wanted to make sure that people were attaching the appropriate number of photos. As we go around a vehicle, let's take the number of photos that are appropriate, but we don't need several hundreds of photos per question in that instance. And so this is a great way from an admin or a template builder perspective to control the number of photos that we're committing to each of these questions.
Yeah, definitely great new level of control. I'm always surprised by some of the things that our customers are doing with the platform out there. I think you started to touch on examples where we have end users who are taking over 100 photos for a single photo question, which is just incredibly thorough, but some of our customers wanted fewer photos to be captured in that scenario, and now they have the ability to do so. And I think many of you have been dealing with some form of workaround to date without this capability, where if you wanted someone to collect 3 photos of the exterior of a building, you had to put 3 photo questions on there and require each one of them. And now you can handle all of that with a minimum number of photos inside of a single question. So really exciting update here, and can help simplify folks' template configurations.
All right, beautiful. So we'd love to open up the floor to any questions that the team might have. We're going to monitor the chat here for a couple of minutes. And also along the way, I'm going to include a support article that has each and all of these features, how you can configure them, where you can set them up. That is now included in the chat, but do let us know what kind of questions you have. Happy to engage live with any of those questions that start to come in.
All right, looks like we've got our first question here, Gary. Is it possible to make some of the fields on the form read-only rather than the complete form?
Today, the way the read-only form works, the entire form is in a read-only state. There are some creative ways to do this in the background with some validation rules and things of that nature. But today, this new feature is strictly the entire form to push it into a read-only state.
Yeah, and I'm not sure specifically if this question is meaning like conditionally make certain fields read-only, but I just want to remind everyone that you do have the ability to tick the read-only box when adding a question in the template builder, but that means it's always read-only. Thanks for the question.
All right, we will keep the bridge open for another couple of minutes. Please keep your Q&A coming. And in the meantime, again, we just wanted to thank everybody for joining. Thank you to our customers and partners. Really hope you had the opportunity to digest some of this material. Let's incorporate it into some of the new forms and form templates that we're offering in the future. I believe that it has a lot of value to you and your organizations, and we of course would always welcome your feedback going forward. Again, a lot of the feedback that you've solicited, that's given us the opportunity to build into our roadmap, and these of course are the features that we're reviewing today. So thank you again for your feedback in the past. Thank you for taking the time to carve out of your busy day and join us today in our webinar. We will continue to monitor the Q&A here for another couple of minutes, but thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, Gary, thanks for your help here today. Always fun to collaborate with you on these release webinars. I think we're winding down on the attendees, assuming we don't get any additional questions here. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Gary, thank you. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.